Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We have got some very interesting topics to go over today. And just like we tend to see on a regular basis, all of these clips that seem like wildly different topics are all in some way connected, because in a way, they're all pointing toward a great deception. But thank you all for dropping by to watch another selection of interesting clips with me today. I hope everyone's able to make it to the end, and don't forget to hit like and leave a comment if you want to ensure that my future uploads actually appear in your YouTube feed. But with all that out of the way, let's get after it.
NASA is officially launching humans to the moon for the first time since 1972, and it is happening in 3 days. NASA just confirmed that Artemis 2 is going to be launching on April the 1st at 6:24 p.m. Guys, in just 3 days, humans are going to be leaving Earth's orbit for the first time in 50 years, and somehow it feels like literally nobody is talking about this right now. Victor Glover is about to become the first person of color to ever travel beyond Earth's orbit. Christina Koch is going to become the first woman, and then Jeremy Hansen from Canada becomes the first non-American. This is 3 different records all being broke from a single crew and a single launch. So that's obviously a little bit insane. But this is the part that is actually insane, because they're going to be flying about 4,000 miles past the moon and then re-entering Earth's atmosphere at about 25,000 miles per hour. That alone is going to officially make this the fastest and the farthest that any human being has ever traveled in history. I'm actually going to be live streaming the entire launch right here on my page, so if you want to make sure you don't miss it, you need to make sure you go ahead and follow me right now, because we're obviously going to watch it together. 54 years. Do you believe it or not? We are officially going back.
I left his little call to action at the end of that clip just in case any of you actually wanted to go and watch the live stream that he does of this. But if you go back to the beginning of that clip, I've got his name posted at the bottom of the screen. But what do y'all think about this? Do you think that they're actually going to have a launch on April 1st, or that they're doing this as an April Fool's gag? I think as many times as they keep announcing that they're fixing to launch some people into space, and then they keep postponing it and pushing it back and pushing it back, I think if they don't do something soon, people are just going to completely lose interest. So I do think we'll see something soon, although I'm completely convinced it'll be an attempt at deception, regardless of what it is. What's so exciting is that they've kind of backed themselves into a corner. They've never given us a legitimate whole photo of the Earth. They've announced that all these astronauts are able to use their actual cell phones to take photos and videos as they're flying around up there. And now we're less than a week away from supposedly sending them into orbit with their cell phones. I just wonder what their rules are. Like, are we going to actually get photos from the astronauts posted directly to their own personal X account? Or will every photo and video that they take with their personal device have to go through a NASA team in order to get authorization to be released to the public? Because if the latter of those two options is the way they intend to handle it, no one's going to buy anything they put out anyways.
In a shocking announcement, Pete Hegseth basically confirms what many of us have been saying for a long time, which is that this is 100% going to happen. Canada will become a part of the United States. Whether it's an annexed territory or a state, it's going to become a part of the US, and so is Greenland. So is Mexico, and so is Venezuela, Colombia, Haiti, Dominican, and a bunch of other countries in the Caribbean. Also, of course, Cuba. So this is an accurate map of what is going to happen, and the reason why I'm not for or against it is because I'm aware of what this is. So for one, I love the United States. If Canada could become a part of the US and all of a sudden we had more freedom of speech and other freedoms and whatnot, like, that would be frigging awesome. But that's not really part of the plan, is it? To make countries freer right now, to make countries things cheaper, to make, that's not where we're going. This is a part of a plan to get us closer to a one world government. And to get closer to a one world government, you have to first start consolidating nations into massive areas governed under one body. So this is part of the one world government agenda, but we're seeing it framed as like, this is strategic, like the US should control Greenland, because if it's at war with Russia and China, then like you should definitely have some bases and be able to take over Greenland. But that's being framed as if China and Russia are these like other entities, as if they're not controlled by the same hidden hand that's controlling Canada and the US and Venezuela and Mexico anyway. So it literally is all fake, but this is going to happen depending on when humanity fully wakes up and or Christ comes back. And I didn't even mention, this map is from the 1940s. The North American Technate, they already said, let's do this and rule it with technology.
We haven't talked about the North American Technate in a while, but is it not looking to everyone else as obvious as it's looking to me that we are clearly headed in this direction? I fully expect that so long as this Earth still stands 20 years from now, they will have already pulled off this plan. What's crazy about everything that's happening right now is we're seeing plans come into fruition that people have been warning about for 4 or 5 decades. So we've literally had people for a half a century sounding the alarm on some of the things that we discuss on this channel. But people that were talking about this back in the 50s, that was 70 plus years ago. But what's really crazy is that we're actually living through this stuff now. Some of the things that we're discussing that have been talked about for many decades before us, those people were warning about some potential future event that may come to fruition if all of these different things line up. And here we are, after all these different things lined up, watching this happen in real time. It feels as if we're all living through the final stages of all of these great conspiratorial master plans. The things that most of the population thought they would never be able to pull off. We're watching it play out right in front of our eyes. It's kind of surreal when you stop and think about it.
All morning, I have had random songs and thoughts that are not mine popping in my head. And it's whatever, kind of used to it. So I'm in my office for a little bit and I realize my head's quiet. I'm like, okay. For those of you that don't know, my office is mylar'd out and everything's blocked. It's all grounded. It's wonderful and it's quiet. So I put my copper beanie on and came out here and it's quiet. I take it off and instantly I have a song pop in my head and really strange thoughts. I've got a crazy rerun going right now. So if this is happening to you, copper hat, copper beanie, whatever copper you have to protect your noggin, because they're running some crazy voice of school stuff today.
I wanted to just touch on this just very quickly, and I don't know if this is being utilized against the public yet. I don't know that if it is being used against the public that you can protect yourself with a copper beanie. But even though we haven't discussed the mind manipulation tactics that they're trying to put into place right now, even though it's been months since we've brought that topic up on the channel at all, looking through all this conspiratorial content every day and trying to kind of find the thread of what's the most important things being talked about. There has been an increase recently in content where people are describing hearing things that they shouldn't be able to hear. People are describing feeling almost as if they're having intrusive thoughts directly beamed right into their head. People who have no history of psychosis, no history of mental illness, people who seem to be living a very good life. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're just completely bombarded with these intrusive thoughts that they can't shake no matter what they do to try to get rid of it. But I've noticed almost all of these videos seem to be coming from California or Texas. And it's quite possible that I've only seen 0.5% of all the videos going up talking about this particular topic. And so it's very well possible that I've just not seen any of the other ones from other states. But with all the videos I've seen lately, it seems like every one of them, if they give a location where they're filming at, it seems like nearly every one of them are coming from Texas or from California. And we know that our government doesn't mind experimenting on the people. Our intelligence agencies have literally been exposed multiple times at this point for having conducted experiments on the public. Experiments that in some cases completely ruined a lot of people's lives. Some that even cost people their lives. But considering the massive migrant population in both of those areas, wouldn't it kind of make sense that if they were going to start testing something like this, that they would do it in an area like that? And I could have these places completely wrong, but whenever I picture a place like California or Texas, you've basically got, in California, for example, half the population who is voting for the government to have more control over their lives. People who are almost conditioned to believe that the government can do no wrong. And then you have another large swath of the population in California who probably doesn't pay any attention to what the government's doing. A lot of them probably aren't even supposed to be in this country, so why would they have any concern about what the government's up to? It just seems like those are areas where you're going to have a lot of people who aren't really paying attention. People who are not already automatically suspicious of any move the government makes. So wouldn't it make sense to test in a place like that, where the population's not even primed to pick up on specific red flags, where they'll see something suspicious and just explain it away, because why would the government do something like that? I don't know though, it's just a theory, but I am seeing a lot of people talking about this topic right now. What do y'all think is going on?
This teacher quit mid-school year after finding out the truth about school technology.
I resigned mid-year because I could not in good conscience remain in this system any longer. And I'm telling you, this goes deep. Since 2019, kids have been tracked the moment they log into their school devices. Their emotions, behavior, diagnosis, their race and gender, every click, every search, is recorded and handed over to tech companies without your consent. Programs like HMH, Amplify, Dreambox, Panorama, Class Dojo, Success Ed, all of this, Khan Academy, they're backed by billionaires like Gates, Bezos, Zuckerberg. You can literally Google this info. These are so much more than just educational tools. They are surveillance systems, collecting data on your children. Schools sign contracts as your child's parent under a loophole, a legal loophole. And tech companies are legally considered school officials. That means they can track and collect everything. This is not education anymore. It is data mining. It is manipulation and exploitation. And I refuse to stay silent. Protect your...
I think this is likely something that we all just assumed was going on to some degree. And what's frustrating is they don't even allow you the opportunity to opt out of this technology stuff anymore. When they first started bringing things like these Chromebooks into the classroom, and they would have a kid had to get their parent to sign, giving them permission to get internet access or to have any kind of screen time at all while they're at school. I remember there were kids who just weren't allowed to use that stuff. Their parents didn't believe in it. They didn't want them learning about all this technology. And so they wouldn't sign the permission slip, and these kids would just sit in class with books and pen and paper while everybody else was on a screen. But this is what it was like whenever I was in school. To use any kind of technology at school, you would have to get your parents' permission. But now they force you to allow your kids to use this stuff, even if your kid has a problem with screen time. I know there are some of these kids can't get themselves under control if they get to look at a screen for 5 seconds throughout the day. They were raised with that constant dopamine hit, and when they see a screen, they just can't focus on anything else. But we as parents are no longer given the option to opt our kids out of this stuff and have them taught in a traditional sense. And nowadays, if you don't want your kid to have a Chromebook and you go to the school and actually fight for that, now you got to worry about them sending child protective services out to your house and claiming that you're denying your child an education and that that's mental abuse. Because now it would appear that the state is at all times looking for any opportunity they can find to try to remove your kids from your protection. And I don't mean to go off on some tangent, but honestly, does it surprise anyone that all of this is just about keeping tabs on what your kids think and do? That it's all just one big tracking system? Because it doesn't surprise me at all.
This is an emergency video. It's not what he says, it's why he's saying it. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but it's very important that everybody's aware what's happening and what's going to happen. So Vance comes out, as you've probably seen, and says that aliens are demons and they're doing nefarious things. Look, this is definitely a partial truth, but he's not telling you for the reason you think. Yeah, aliens as we know them are spiritual wickedness in high places of all different forms. Fallen angels, demons in flesh suits created by, I don't know, somebody.
I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion.
Do you know what Phil Schneider said before he passed away? Someone who supposedly knew all these things and had high connections in these places, and him himself was a high connection in this place? He said the entire world was being orchestrated from a bunch of grays above the earth, like in a spiritual dimension. And then, shortly after, something happened to him, and they tried to claim he did to himself. But the family knew better. Now you know that all musicians worship Aleister Crowley. Aleister Crowley summoned Lamb. He looks just like a gray. They opened portals in the desert, let all these demonic things into our realm, then passed away and couldn't close it. Jack Parsons did. You can Google everything I'm saying to you right now. Like I told you on the play button, and I also posted on these platforms. There is a great human coming. But this is their plan, this is in their agenda. They are going to say that the Greys are evil, but the tall Nordic whites are the good guys. And the good guys, the white ones, are going to help us take out the gray ones. And look, this is just quick and to the point. There's a whole lot more to the story. Like the destruction of all world religions to make us think that our creators are somehow these Nordic white aliens. Also that Jesus is one of them as well. This is no joke, nor is it speculation. This is what's going to happen. Let every man be a liar and let God be true. People are going to be deceived big time. Spread the word.
You gonna release all the UFO files?
We're working on it. It's funny. When I came in, I was obsessed with the UFO files, and then you start getting really busy worrying about the economy and national security and things like that. But I've still got 3 more years as vice president. I will get to the bottom of the UFO files.
Okay. Have you peeked? Have you done a peek?
Have I what?
Have you done a peek? Have you
So I actually haven't. I
the
have
full
not.
Independence Day.
I have not been able to spend enough time on this to really understand it. Yeah. But I am going to. Trust me, I'm obsessed with this. I've already had a couple of times where I'm like, all right, we're going to Area 51. We're going out to New Mexico. We're going to sort of get to the bottom of this. And then the timing of the trip just didn't work out. But trust me, anybody who's curious about this, I'm more curious than anybody. And I've got 3 years of the very, very tippy top of the classification. I'm going to get to the bottom of it.
Okay, so you haven't been to Area 51 yet?
Not yet.
Some
not
people
yet.
say they keep UFOs in Ohio.
Yeah, Hangar 18, Hangar 18, right?
I've
I've heard that as well, but I don't know. I haven't looked into it yet.
All right. Well, we're waiting for it. We saw aliens.
And you know me.
We saw aliens.gov.
I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion.
Well, I can't let you go without a follow-up on that. Because Barack Obama is on this podcast, and he goes, yeah, aliens are real, but, like, here's where they're not. And, you know.
I did not.
And so Obama says, yes, aliens are, he gets asked point blank, are aliens real? Like, oh, yeah. And then he goes, but they're not at Area 51. And
well, where are they?
Well, that's what he says. Right. That's a great question. Trump had to go save them, and he said he's going to be classified. Okay. So you think they're demons?
Well, look, I think that celestial beings who fly around, who do weird things to people, I think that the desire to describe everything celestial, everything is otherworldly, to describe it as aliens. I mean, every great world religion, including Christianity, the one that I believe in, has understood that there are weird things out there, and there are things that are very difficult to explain. And I naturally go, when I hear about sort of extra natural phenomenon, that's where I go to, is the Christian understanding that, you know, there's a lot of good out there, but there's also some evil out there. And I think that one of the devil's great tricks is to convince people we never existed.
It sounds to me like J.D. Vance has the same theories and opinions on this whole alien discussion as what I've got. Because the evidence overwhelmingly suggests that that is not only what's actually happening, but that the point of the whole deception in regards to being told that these are all aliens from off planet. The point is that when people see these so-called aliens, not realizing that they're biblical fallen angels or that they're demons, they'll believe the deception and they'll think, well, clearly there can't be a God because these are beings that aren't spoken of in the Bible and they're from a planet trillions of light years away. But as of right now, I'm completely convinced that that's the reality we're living in. I just can't figure out why J.D. Vance would be admitting this in a podcast. Unless he's trying to get this idea out into the public so that it can be ridiculed. So all the defensive language against that idea already exists in the public whenever these things make an appearance. And that will, like it always does, condition the public into thinking, oh, this is a taboo topic, or this isn't the opinion you need to have in regards to this matter. If you even entertain this idea, people will think that you're crazy. But what do y'all think about it?
What I'm going to tell you today is that next month we're going into human clinical trials to test for the first time in history whether we can reverse the aging process and cure diseases. We can tackle aging because we now believe we understand why we age. And it's not wear and tear. It's not that we just wear out like a car. Our bodies are not like cars. Our bodies are more like computers that can be programmed and reprogrammed and rebooted to be young again. We are like computers, not machines. One analogy, and hopefully you all remember what a compact disc is. We think aging is like scratches on a CD. The DNA is the music, so we get beautiful music when we're young, but when we get old, we cannot read the beautiful music. Our cells do not read the DNA correctly, so the cells, they become lost, they become confused, and our old cells do not make the right proteins and they get diseases. This, we believe, is aging. But what's amazing is we found that you can polish the CD, you can get rid of the scratches and rejuvenate cells so they're young again. And to put it another way, you can reinstall the software of the body so that it's young again. We can quite literally, in my lab, reverse the age of cells and of very complex organs and tissues, including the eye, the most complex, and the brain. We can reverse aging by 75% in 6 weeks. We actually were able to show that using this method, we could cure blindness in animals for the first time. We could cure blindness. And the world reported just last week that the US FDA regulatory body cleared the way for the first age reversal human trial. It's a big deal. The FDA is very supportive. And we will know this year, maybe in the next few months, if age reversal works.
I don't know if I've seen this doctor before. He looks very familiar, but it could just be his eerie resemblance to Ron DeSantis from Florida. But I do feel like I've seen him before, like I've seen him being presented as a doctor or some sort of researcher, I guess you could say, as a expert on a specific topic. But if he's doing this for Harvard and they're about to start actual human trials, and I don't know how old this is, so I don't know if this was filmed like a month ago or from last year and I'm just now coming across it. But he's making the claim in this video that in as little as 6 weeks, they can reverse aging of, I'm assuming, anything by as much as 75%. I wonder if this is what's going on with all of these older celebrities and stuff that we're seeing in Hollywood who keep having photos revealed, candid photos of them at some party, and they look like they're in their 30s again. Like that Kardashian mom who looks like she's younger than some of her daughters. And then just a few months ago, there was that viral photo that was going around that was supposedly showing Martha Stewart sitting on some balcony or something, a lady who's supposedly like somewhere around her 70s. And in that picture that was going around, she looks like she's 35 years old. But I wonder if some of these older celebrities signed up for this human trial. I wonder if this is something that they've legitimately figured out. I'm not interested in taking it because I think that even if they did figure this out, it's just not something we should be doing. But what do y'all think about this? Is this actually something that they're fixing to figure out, or do you think that they're just saying this to use it as cover for something else they're doing to achieve the same result?
Do you agree with this rollout of age verification across all kinds of devices? Let me show you what's happening in the latest release of iOS. Now, Apple recommends that you update your phone to the latest release, 26.4, which has been recently released. It addresses a number of security issues, which includes the fact that you could be impacted when you visit a maliciously crafted website, which leads to a cross-site scripting attack. Now, I'm not going to cover the details of that here, but what I want to show you here is that I've updated my phone to the latest release of iOS 26.4, and if I click continue now, notice what is displayed. Age verification, because I'm based in the UK. Now, this is only the start, and this is probably going to come to a country where you are. California, as an example, is mandating this. So we're told, confirm you are 18 plus. UK law requires you to confirm you are an adult to change content restrictions. By continuing, your ID or credit card may be used to confirm that you are an adult. Now, notice what they're saying there. But on the BBC, we're told that Apple brings in age checks for iPhone users, even though Ofcom added these rules in 2025, which forced tech firms to strengthen child safety protections. However, that doesn't currently cover bringing in age checks at a device level. An Ofcom spokesman added it has worked closely with Apple and other services to ensure the rules can be applied to a variety of contexts in order to ensure users are protected. But Big Brother Watch has said that Apple has put a choke hold on Britain's freedoms to search the internet, because if you do not confirm how old you are, web content filters are turned on automatically, and you need to verify your age by providing a credit card or scanning your ID, according to the Apple support page. So this is from the BBC again. So on the Apple website, we're told that we can use a credit card or scan your ID, such as your driver's license, etc. Now, Carlo from Big Brother once again has said that Apple has crossed the Rubicon with its new software update, which he describes as more like ransomware, and which he said essentially left millions of Brits owning a child's device unless they complied with age checks. She said that even though the Online Safety Act is vital, it required more thoughtful tech responsibility and not sweeping draconian shock demands by foreign companies for all of our IDs and credit cards. You might say that this is not going to happen to you. California is already pushing this. It's going to come all over the world, it seems. You're going to have to verify your age to access different parts of the internet, or you're going to be blocked out of those parts of the internet as they're doing here already with Apple devices. What are your thoughts?
I think the most frustrating part about all of this is you're kind of screwed either way you look at it. They're going to tell you that if you don't upload your photo ID or a credit card, then they can't verify that you're over the age of 18, and so they're going to shut down 90% of the internet, leaving it inaccessible to you. Well, at that point, wouldn't it be for the best to just go ahead and get rid of a phone altogether? Having a device in your pocket that you can pull out at any point of the day and just type in a few words and get access to information about literally any topic. That's kind of the biggest selling point of a phone. People obsessed with them because they feel like that is their connection to the world. If you're going to cut off that connection to the world unless someone complies with some new rules that they're not wanting to comply with, a lot of people are just going to make the decision to just not have a phone anymore. Then they're going to make it a requirement that in order to access your digital ID app so that you can have access to your checking account and everything else, that the only way you can do that is if you verify on the device level that you are over the age of 18. So you can either make the decision to walk away from technology and just not be a part of it, at which point you're not going to be able to buy and sell and participate in the market, or you can go ahead and just comply right out of the gate, and then at least you get the sense that something is somewhat normal. At least you're still able to go to the grocery store or ride public transit. And don't think for a second that I'm suggesting that anyone complies with digital ID. I'm just saying the idea of do not comply, it's going to be a much more complicated process than what we think. But I've got hope that we'll all be raptured out of here before we have to worry about any of this. But guys and gals, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right there. I hope you enjoyed these clips we watched together today. God willing, I'll be back tomorrow with another one. I hope you come back to join me. Don't forget to physically interact with the video in some way by either leaving a like or a comment so that you can tell YouTube's algorithm you want to see my future videos in your feed. But guys and gals, I hope everyone has a great, safe, fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next one.